7 in our countdown, Ledbetter's top 10. We're talking about Moses. There's a whole lot of Moses in the Bible in there. There's a whole lot written about Moses. We're not going to cover the whole Moses story. We're going to cover parts of it. But I'll tell you where we're going to be reading from throughout the sermon. It's going to be from Exodus chapter 2. We're going to get into some of the chapter 3 this morning. So I'm not going to start with that, but just so you know, if you want to take out your Bible, you want to mark it or put your hand in it, whatever it is you do to keep up. Today we started, or not today, excuse me, this week, we started a new week, our new year of school, excuse me, in Chesterfield. It was an interesting time. You know, the kids are all coming back and you're watching these kids coming into the school, some of them for the very first time. And as I sat there and I watched them, excuse me, I realized this is a defining time for a lot of these kids. It's a defining moment. Some of them are just coming for the first time, and they're scared to death. And you're going to have some kids who are crying because they can't get to the locker room. And you're going to have, and how do you react to that? And how do you respond to that? And how does that define that child? And then there's some seventh graders who are trying to find their way. If you ever taught seventh graders, or been around a seventh grader, or been a seventh grader, you know what I'm talking about. Seventh grade's that pivotal year. Everybody trying to figure out who they are. And then eighth grade, you're preparing to go into high school, right? It's your last year. You're on top, right? You're on top of the totem pole. Next year, you're going to be on the bottom of the totem pole, right? And that's what those sixth graders are facing too, right? They come from fifth grade where they were the big kids, and now they're the tiny kids in the big school, right? So it's kind of defining moments. It kind of defines who they are. But we all have moments in our life that are defining, right? Things that once you experience them, you're not the same anymore. Something's changed, for better or worse. Some moments are good, right? And we like those. And like you get a raise at work, that's a defining moment. I like that. You get a promotion, right? You graduate high school, defining moment. You get your driver's license, defining moment. Things aren't the same once you go through those defining moments, right? We all experience as a country, this week we remember a defining moment in our history, right? 9/11. Things weren't ever, excuse me, things weren't the same after 9/11, were they? Right? And those of you who used to fly before 9/11, it's a lot different now than it was then, right? There wasn't nearly the security that there is now, right? And if you remember the days after 9/11, if you flew the days after 9/11, we had people in the airport with machine guns, right? Things changed, didn't they, after 9/11? Because things always change, don't they? And not all events or moments are good, are they? Some events are bad, right? You lose your job, that's a defining moment. It's not a good moment, it's not a pleasant moment. It's just another moment in the series of a lot of moments that are going to happen in your life, right? When something good or bad happens, it's not the final word, it's just a word in a chapter of your life. Can we agree on that? All right. Well, good. Well, today we're going to, as I was looking, Moses is what you all had picked for me to preach on. And as I looked, I said, there's so much on Moses, what am I going to preach on Moses? And as I started reading through Exodus, I started looking, I said, there's a lot of moments for Moses. A lot of defining moments. So we're going to look at some of the defining moments of Moses that took him from birth to where he's called to go and save the people of Israel. And kind of look at those and see how they may relate to us. And we're going to start at the beginning, in Exodus chapter 2. I'm going to start with verse 3. Moses has been born. He's been hidden away because of Pharaoh's order to kill all the male Hebrew children. Okay? And we're going to pick it up there, chapter 3. I'm having a hard time with my voice today, and I apologize. I don't know why. I'm very dry. If you'll bear with me, we'll all get through this together, okay? But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papaya basket and put him and cut for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the riverbank. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her slave to get it. She opened it and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This is one of those Hebrew babies," she said. Then his sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, go," she answered. And the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. When the child grew older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." That's a moment, right? That's a moment that even though Moses probably wouldn't remember that moment, that's a life-changing moment. Because Pharaoh had ordered all the Hebrew male children to be killed. And his mother took him and hid him. And then placed him in a basket where he would be found by Pharaoh's daughter. What a good plan, right? It was definitely a life-changing moment for Moses. He should have been dead. That could have been the end of the Moses story right there. Moses was born a male and was killed. The end. But that's not how it went, is it? No. She saved him, and she put him in a basket. Pharaoh's daughter found him. And now, instead of living among the slave or servant, the Hebrews were generally the servants to the Egyptians. Now, he is going to live as Pharaoh's daughter. That's what you call a pretty good break in life. Right? You're not going to live down here, you're going to live up here. You remember the Jeffersons? You remember that song? Yeah, we're moving on up. Moses was moving on up to the big leagues, right? He's up there and he's being raised as Pharaoh's daughter. The first moment that's recorded for for Moses, was a very good moment, wasn't it? Right? The first Moses moment is a good moment. He's taken from a sure death, what should have been a sure death, to being raised by Pharaoh's daughter. Now that's pretty much a life of luxury, and we don't hear much about how Moses grows up. We don't hear what he did, whether he played on the soccer team, or what he was doing. But we know he, growing up in Pharaoh's house, was probably a very good life. And the next time we pick him up is in chapter, verse 11. But it says, Moses is all grown up, right? And he went out to where his people were, and he watched them and their hard labor. And he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Now, glancing this way and that, and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day, he went out and saw two Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, "Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew?" And the man said, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "What I did must have become known." When Pharaoh heard this, he tried to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to Midian, where he sat down by a well. Our second encounter, our second moment with Moses, finds him going out, leaving his luxurious, or his well-to-do setting, and going out and seeing his people working in the field. And he sees an Egyptian beating one of his brothers, Hebrew brothers. And he becomes angry. And he kills him. Well, first he looks around, make sure nobody's watching, and then he kills him, and then he hides him in the sand. He reacts out of anger. He kind of loses control. Probably not his best moment, would you say? You ever had a moment like that? Where you lost control? How many of you are control freaks? You don't like to be called that. How many of you like, I like to be in control. I like it, not so much that I control the people, but I want to make sure I'm in control of me. I don't like to be out of control. I don't like it to get angry. I like to be very much in control. So you can call me a control freak. But when I was younger, I've been known to get angry and lose it, right? And sometimes you just do things or say things when you're angry that you're really ashamed of, aren't you? That really don't sit well with you, do they? That really aren't pleasing to God, are they? You don't want anybody to know. Maybe you looked around to see if anybody saw you pitch that temper tantrum, or you saw anybody act that way. When you did it, right? When you got mad, you're like, oh, anybody saw that? Boy, that wasn't good. That wasn't my best moment, right? That's the kind of moment Moses has here. He has a really bad moment. And sometimes we get away with bad moments, don't we? Sometimes we have bad moments and nobody really sees. God sees them, but people don't see them, right? But Moses was called. We find out the next day somebody did see it, and people did know what he had done. Right? That's bad. That's even worse. It's bad enough you did it. Bad when somebody else sees you do it. Right? You don't want anybody to know, and now everybody knows, and now Pharaoh knows, and Pharaoh wants to kill Moses. So what does Moses do? He runs. He's smart. He leaves. He's not going to stick around. He knows they want to kill him. So he leaves and goes to Midian. Now, this is really not a good Moses moment, is it? It cost him a lot, didn't it? He's left that life of luxury, growing up in Pharaoh's house, to now, he's a man without a home. He's a man on the run. He's lost everything. Sometimes bad moments cost us everything, don't they? Or at least something. You ever been there? Had a bad moment? Cost you more than you wanted it to? We all have. We've all had bad moments. Ain't none of us perfect. The pew's empty. Ain't none of us perfect. So we've all had bad moments at some point in time. Right? But that's what Moses had. He had a bad moment. Now, his heart might have been in the right place. You know, he was trying to protect somebody. But he let his anger get the best of him. That's never a good thing. Never react out of anger. Let yourself calm down. Be in control. Measure what you do. What would God have you to do? Right? So now Moses has had what? A good moment and a bad moment. It's kind of like our life, isn't it? Sometimes we have good moments. Sometimes we have bad moments, because that's the way life is. It's kind of a hill, valley type of thing, right? So we're going to follow along. Moses is here. He goes into the city, and I wonder if he regretted interfering. You think? You know, as he's running, as he's heading around in the desert, he's got no home. I wonder if he thought about, man, I should just let that guy get beat. I mean, really, I could have just gone back and lived my life. I don't know why I interfered. What was I doing? Why did I get involved? Why did I care about those people? I need to keep my nose out of other people's business. You think that's what he thought? Well, if you read on, you know that's not what he thought. Because the first thing he does is he comes to this well, and it says now, we're going to be in verse 16. Verse 16, let's see what he does. It says, now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill their troughs to water their flocks, their father's flocks, excuse me. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moses got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. When the girls returned home to their father, He asked them, "Why have you returned so early today?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock." "And where is he?" he asked his daughters. "Why did you leave him? Invite him to come have something to eat." Moses agreed to stay with the man who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Well, I guess sometimes helping people's not a bad thing, is it? Moses stuck his nose in somebody else's business again, but this time with a different result, right? It's a good moment, right? He helps them. They get the flock watered. They return home. The dad says, "Where's the gentleman who helped you? Come invite him in." And then he gives him a daughter to marry. Moses, if you read on to that, has a son. Life is good for Moses, right? He's got all the things. Now he's taking care of his father-in-law's flocks. So he's got a job, check. Got a wife, check. Got a child, check. He's going through life's checklist at a pretty good rate. He's doing okay, right? So everything is good. He's had another good moment, right? Another good Moses moment. It's good when your good moments outweigh your bad moments, isn't it? That's how we prefer life to be, right? Don't you want to spend time on the mountaintop, not down in the valley? Because I prefer being up on the mountaintop. I don't like it in the valley, but we all got to go through those sometimes, don't we? But the good news is there's another hill beyond the valley. Amen? Amen. Always is. But now we're about to get to the moment of all moments, the moment that all this has been building up to. The moment that Moses meets God. That's always a good moment, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And God calls Moses. You remember when God called you? That was a good moment, wasn't it? It may not have been a burning bush moment, but it was a good moment, right? Because God calls us all. First, He calls us to be His children, right? Then He may have something else for you to do. He may have another gift, another way for you to use your abilities that He has planned for you. We're going to get into that in just a minute. But let's look at this burning bush experience. If you go to chapter 3, we're going to skip to chapter 3, verse 2. It says, "There was an angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over there and see this strange sight. Why does the bush not burn up? When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. Now this is a moment. Can you imagine being in that moment? Can you imagine out doing your job? He's tending his flock. Just him and the sheep. And you look over there and you see a bush. And it's burning. But it's not being consumed. It's burning. And so I'm going to go check that out. See, that's where we part ways. Because I'm not going near that bush. But just said, that doesn't attract me. Like, something's going on over there that's not right. I don't need to get too close. But Moses is different. So Moses heads over there. And as he gets close, he hears a voice calling his name. Moses! Moses! And I say that loud because here has an exclamation point, so I'm assuming God said it pretty loud. Maybe, I don't know if Moses is hard of hearing or what, but it says, he said it loudly, Moses, Moses, he gets his attention, right? Now, I don't know about you, I'd have passed out. I'm just serious. If I had the courage to go to the bush, and I'm approaching the bush, and he starts saying, Kenny, Kenny, I'm like, if I'm not passing out, I'm running. I'm going to stay the truth. I'm not running into that kind of stuff. So, Moses says, here I am. And he says, and God tells him he is walking on holy ground. He needs to take off his shoes. And Moses looks away because he doesn't want to see God's face. And he goes on to tell Moses that he has heard his children, the Hebrews, cry. He has heard their cries of despair, that they are oppressed. And he's chosen Moses to go and save him. How would you respond to that? If you didn't pass out when he called your name, you got your shoes off, and you're standing there on holy ground, the bush is burning, and it's talking to you, you're probably shaking, because I'll be shaking. I mean, you're going to be a little scared. And God's telling you, I'm choosing you to go and save my people. How do you respond to that? That's a good question right there. I can tell you how Moses responded. You read on, he goes into there, he says, who am I? Because that's going to be my question. Who am I to go and save your people? To go and talk to Pharaoh on behalf of your people? That's my first question. Who am I? I don't know about it. I've tended these sheep. You know, I got a shady past. I've done some things, you know. I killed some people. You probably don't know that guy. I had to kill the guy. I've had some bad moments in my life, right? Who am I to go and talk on your behalf? And then his next question is, and who are you? Who am I to tell them that you are? If I did go, if I do accept this mission, you know, and I do go, who should I tell them that you are? What does God tell me? He says, I am who I am. I am. I'm the great I am. Now that's going to be a hardship. I know y'all, can you now think about Moses? He's sitting there thinking, I'm going to go talk to these people who don't know me. I've been gone a while. They probably don't know who I am. And I'm going to say, God sent me. And they say, which God? Because there's a lot of gods at that time. A lot of people worship me. He says, you know, I am. What? He does tell them a little more than that. Let's read that passage just so you can get a thing. But Moses said to God, who am I to go to Pharaoh? This is in verse 11, we're starting. To bring the Israelites out of Egypt. And God said, I will be with you. Hold on. Let's go back. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation. That's a lot to grasp. If I'm Moses and I'm still sitting there in shock because the bush is burning and not going up and it's talking to me and I'm taking my shoes off and I'm talking to God and I realize I'm talking to God and I'm scared because I'm talking to God because I know all the things I've done in my past aren't really what they should be. I have some bad moments in there, right? And God's telling me, He's chosen me to go speak on His behalf to His people to deliver them from slavery. And I'm not feeling qualified. Have you ever been called to do something and not felt like you were qualified to do it? I can tell you, 100%, without a doubt, when I was called in the ministry, I was not qualified. I didn't feel qualified. I was not qualified, but I was called. And just like Moses, I had a whole list of excuses to go through. Has God ever called you and you got out your list? I need you to help with the nursery. Oh God, that was a good idea, but let me tell you why I can't. First off, I don't like children. The second one, but you start going through your list, right, of why you can't do something. I need you to go minister to your neighbor. I need you to go talk to your neighbor. They're really down. They just lost somebody. This might be a good opportunity for you to go and perform a ministry of love over there. That's good, God, but I'm kind of busy. I got pinochle tonight, and I'm not going to be able to get there. I got to play these cards. I've already made the commitment. You don't want me to break my commitment right now. I'd like to do that. It's a good idea. It's really, I like your idea. I just don't have time, right? I just can't fit it in. I'm not qualified. You're right, you're not. You're not qualified, but it's okay. Because God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the good. Called. Right? It's not about what you can do. It's about what He can do through you. It's not about whether I can preach. It's about whether I'm available for Him to speak through. It's not about what I can do up here, because I can tell you I can do nothing up here other than show up and let God speak. It's the truth. It's not about your qualifications. It wasn't about what Moses could do. He didn't have any special gifts, any special talents. Matter of fact, he couldn't speak. He pointed out, I'm not a good speaker. I got a speech impediment. I don't communicate well. I'm not the best. I'm not a good presenter. I don't know how to work PowerPoint. I can't go and speak and present to the Pharaoh. I just don't have the tools. And then God gives him some tools. We're not going to read that, but he goes on and he says, take your staff. So one of the things you can do, show that I am the God. He said, take your staff and throw it down. And he does, and it turns into a snake. And that's where I left the ministry. Right? I'm Moses. That was a deal breaker for me. I'm out. But he says, pick it up by its tail, and I'm really not doing that. But he picks it back up and turns it back into a staff. He says, put your hand into your cloak. He said, and you pull it out, and it's turned into leprosy. Its ashes is white. When God shows you what He can do, there is no doubt that you can fulfill the mission that He has set before you. You see, God has a mission for each of us. We're all kind of similar to Moses in a way. We all have good moments, right? I've had my share. I hope you've had yours. We all have bad moments. my share. I hope you haven't had many. None of us is qualified. But our God gave us something very special. Verse 12. Go back to verse 12. There was a reason I repeated it. I went back and repeated that. What does it say? Somebody read it to me.
Then God told him, I will be with you.
That's enough. I will be with you. In other words, God's letting us know, I'm sending you on a mission, but I'm not sending you out by yourself. I'm going to be with you. And you're going to be successful. You know how you're going to be? I know you're going to be successful. Because he tells Moses, when you bring the people out, and you come back to this mountain, I want you to worship. Well, you can't come back to this mountain and worship it with the people unless you were successful in your mission, right? That makes sense? So he lets him know right off the bat, you're going to be successful. But if you read on through there, he knows, and he lets Moses know, you know what, there's going to be some dark days. There's going to be some tough times. There's going to be some times that you're going to wonder what you're doing here. And how did you ever get into this mess? There's going to be some dark days. Because you know what? Life is filled with dark days. But God is still with you. And He's taking you to a place that He wants you to be. And He calls all of us, each and every one of us, into ministry. Now, you may not have your God ears on, where you're listening. But I can tell you, we're all called to do something. If nothing else, you're called to go out and spread the good news of the gospel. To tell other people about this wonderful God that we worship. This amazing God and His amazing grace and His amazing love for each and every one of us. And His promise that He'll never leave us and He'll never forsake us. And that through our belief in His Son, Jesus Christ, that we can have eternal life. That's all you need to know. You're equipped. You have a staff that will turn into a snake now. Go out and throw it at somebody's feet. You say, I can't say that to somebody. They would laugh at me and they would be my friend and we'd never be able to play pinochle or bridge or anything else. Well, okay. Well, then don't say that. Maybe you just share your story. Because your story is filled with Moses' moments too. And the most powerful story you have is the one of how Christ has changed you. How He's affected your life. How He's blessed you. You see, you don't have to know the Bible word for word. You don't have to be able to pull out a scripture and say, John 3:16 is this, and Romans 2:12. You don't have to be able to do that. It's good if you can. And it's good to know God's word. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm telling you is the most powerful story is the story that God's written in your heart. The love story He's written to each and every one of you. You see, no one can argue that. Nobody can argue that. When I tell you about the way God has worked in my life and changed me, you can't argue that. You can't argue that with me. It's just what it is. It's just the facts. It's just the most incredible love story ever written. You see, you can do great things. All of you. Some of you already have. But you each have been given more days. You're here today. Right? This isn't the end of your story. At least not right now. But what will your next chapter be? Where is God calling you? What is He asking you to do? And how will you answer that call? That's what I want you to think about when you leave here today. And I also want you to remember, when you start coming up with that list of why you can't, remember verse 12. God said, and I will be with you. And if God is with you, nobody will defeat If God is with you, you'll be able to do whatever He's brought you to. Because He didn't bring you to it to fail. He did it because you were the exact person He needed for that moment. And your moment intersects with somebody else's moment, and it becomes a wonderful thing. But we have to be willing to go. We have to be willing to say, yes, I am. So I can't do that. I'm scared. Well, I read something on the internet where I get all my theology from Facebook, and there was somebody said, if you're worried about how to be a great leader, don't worry about being a great leader. Moses started off as a basket case. And he did. And he did. And look where God brought him. I mean, we all started off somewhere, right? And we all have our ups and downs. But we have to realize this. It's God's plan for each of us. And He's got a mission for each of us. If you don't know it, search for it. Ask Him to show it to you. And He will. What is it that you'd have me to do? Maybe it's something small. Maybe it's something big. Maybe it's bigger than your wildest dreams or anything you'd imagine. But you have to be open to it. You have to believe that God's working in your best interest. And He wants you to work for Him. He's got a job for you. He does. Do you believe that? I believe that. For each and every one of us. Now, you want to go on to the rest of Moses? I don't believe so. We'd be here all day. And I just want to let you know this. Because Moses had his moments. And so will you. But God doesn't judge you by your moments. Men do. Men judge you by your moments. God sees past that. He sees the greatness in your future. And He wants you to see it too. And He does amazing things with people who we would think aren't qualified to do anything. We need to stop looking at our moments and look to see what God has for our future and believe He will get us there. He got Moses through his ordeal with the Pharaoh. He parted Red Seas. He sent plagues. He'll do whatever He has to do to get us there. But we need to be willing to go. Are you willing to go? I pray that you are. Because God can do amazing things for people who are just willing. And all God's people said,
Amen.